Hi, I'm Nahjee Grant, and welcome to the show, Really Exciting and Delightful Stories. I wanted to start off the show by reading one of my newest children's books, Where Did My Dream Go?, written by me and illustrated by Emily D. Stewart. Here we go. Where did my dream go? One morning, Jasmine woke up to the smell of breakfast and the melody of birds singing near her window. Usually, she woke up to memories of her dreams from the night before. On that particular morning, however, she couldn't remember a thing. She sat up on the bed, worried and wondering. Where did my dream go? I see my dreams every night, yet this one has disappeared. Most days, she could remember her dreams vividly. When she was 6, she dreamt she was an astronaut, skipping from planet to planet, flying among the brightest stars. 1 year later, she was a firefighter, saving children from a burning building. 5 days after that, she dreamt she was a police officer, fighting crime in the neighborhood. On her 8th birthday, she was a soccer star who scored the winning goal. She had always remembered those dreams, but this one was different. Getting ready for bed, getting ready for school, she swept memories of her earlier dreams under the bed for safekeeping and tried to remember the dream that she lost from the night before. She was on a mission. Where is my dream? I will not stop until I find it. Still struggling to find where her dream had disappeared to, she made her way downstairs. Her mom walked out from the kitchen with a bowl of cereal and juice, but Jasmine had lost her appetite. I can't remember my dream, said Jasmine. What am I going to do? You are a fearless child who never gives up until you find what you're looking for, her mother replied. There are signs everywhere that will help you find it. I'm sure it's hiding for a reason, and it will show up at the right time. So be ready when it does. Now finish breakfast and get ready for the bus. Jasmine was still worried. She didn't talk to anyone on the bus because she was so busy searching for clues on her way to school. At school, she searched her cubby. I have to find my dream. What if it doesn't turn up? What if my dream is lost forever? I may never go back to sleep again. The bell rang. Jasmine made her way to class, feeling determined. She heard her mom's voice in her head. You are fearless and never give up. During math, Mr. Smith asked the class for an answer to a question. Jasmine, who usually hated to talk in class, confidently raised her hand. I have the answer. I think 5 times 70 is 350. Well, yes, it is. Great job, Jasmine, he replied. You see, class, if you believe you know the answer, don't be afraid to give it a try. And if you don't know, it's okay to ask for help. After class, Jasmine asked her friends what they had dreamed about the night before. She hoped their answers would remind her of her own dream. Micah said even though he has trouble reading, he always dreams of being an author. And Ayana, the quietest kid in class, was a famous actress in her dreams. Wow, those dreams are amazing, Jasmine replied, feeling sad that she still could not remember hers. At recess, Jasmine noticed a new swing set on the playground. Humming a tune, she nervously rolled onto this access platform, feeling a little shaky as she tried it out for her first time. As she began to swing higher and higher, she wondered whether it was worth continuing her search. She had always been told the sky's the limit, but her dream from the night before seemed just beyond her reach. After recess, Jasmine's class took a trip to the one place that always gave her peace, the library. Books are full of information and knowledge, she said to herself. Maybe I'll find a book that will explain what happens to dreams that disappear and how to recover a dream you lose. Jasmine was just finishing reading a wonderful story when a voice on a loudspeaker interrupted her thoughts. Excuse me, everyone. The school talent show will take place at 1 p.m. Students, please make your way to the auditorium. All presenters should report backstage immediately. In a panic, Jasmine dropped her book and headed toward the exit. Oh no, she said. I searched for my dream for so long that I forgot I signed up for the talent show. This has to be the worst day of my life. I'm not prepared or focused, and right now, I do not want to perform in front of anyone. She struggled to hold back tears as she zipped down the hall on her way backstage. As she waited with the other performers, she pulled the curtain back to check the size of the crowd. Wow, that's a lot of people watching. I don't think I have what it takes. I didn't practice enough. Maybe if I sneak out, no one will notice, she said. Jasmine was heading toward the exit when she suddenly heard her name called next. Her heart was pounding and her palms were sweaty, making it difficult to control her chair as she rolled onto the stage. She gripped the microphone, thinking, why did I ever decide to chase a silly dream I cannot remember? I will never get distracted by following my dreams again. As she squeezed the microphone tightly in her hands, and fear began to take over. She suddenly remembered. Her dream was to motivate millions of kids with inspiring songs. It was never really lost, and this was the moment to show everyone just how confident she really was. Jasmine took a deep breath and confidently sang her favorite song, the one about daring to follow your dreams and not being afraid to be who you are. As she sang the last note, there was a thunderous applause. She opened her eyes to see her classmates jumping up and down, cheering her on. Her teachers had tears of joy in their eyes. When Jasmine went to bed that night, she realized her dream had never truly disappeared. It had been hiding inside her all along. Dreams don't always return, but this one was worth looking for. So remember to always follow your dreams. The end. And that's a short story from myself and Emily Stewart. Where did my dream go? So we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we have a special guest, a author, young author, Kaylin Davila, who created a short story called A Fashion Trip to Paris, which is going to share that short story with us when we come back. We'll take a short break, and we'll be right back. Welcome to Really Exciting and Delightful Stories. I'm Nahjee Grant, and I'm joined with a very special guest, Kaylin Davila, who created a wonderful story called A Fashionable Trip to Paris, written and illustrated by Kaylin Davila. So, Kaylin, before we start sharing your story, you want to tell me just a little bit about how you came up with the story?
I love Paris and I love fashion, so I was thinking maybe I should write a book about a fashionable trip to Paris.
Fashionable trip to Paris, that's wonderful. So, a little bit of background about yourself before we start, all right? So, you are how old?
8.
You're 8 years old, and what school do you go to?
Penn Valley Elementary School.
Penn Valley Elementary School, very good. And we're going to have you read your story, and then I want to ask you a couple more questions about how you actually got to create the story and about the written words and illustrations.
Okay.
Okay? You can start right there.
Hi, my name is Kaylin, and I love fashion and Paris. Fashion plus Paris equals a trip to one of the fashion capitals of the world, Paris. When I arrived, I met a seamstress named Cece Jones. She has been a seamstress in Paris for 10 years. Her favorite thing to do are attend Paris Fashion Week and make sparkly dresses. And I decided to get my Christmas dress custom made by Cece Jones. A summer dress that I could consign at a consignment shop when I get home. Lastly, a down coat that I will donate to an organization for a little girl. Cece Jones said, "It will take me 3 days to make the clothing." I had 3 days to tour Paris. I shopped all around at fancy boutiques. I met a French poodle named Fifi and had a cup of peach tea by the Eiffel Tower. Cece Jones did an amazing job on the clothing. My Christmas dress had the perfect amount of sequins and tulle. The summer dress was a beautiful blush pink. It will be a success at the consignment shop. The down coat was so soft, I could tell it had hundreds of feathers inside. It would be nice and warm for a snow day. I told Cece Jones thank you for the clothing and helping me learn more about fashion industry. On my flight home, I realized my love for fashion and Paris would not exist if I didn't love learning first. Learning plus fashion plus Paris equals me. The end.
Very good. Very good. And how long did it take you to create the story?
2-3 days, I guess.
2-3 days. 2-3 days. So I'm going to ask you a couple more questions. All right, we're going to take a small commercial break. And if you have submissions, one thing we're going to do is we're in 3rd, 4th, or 5th grade. We're asking you to send submissions. And we'll take a small commercial break. Then we're going to ask Kaylin a couple more questions about her story. So stay tuned. And we're back, and welcome back to really exciting and delightful stories. I'm here with my special guest, Kaylin Davila, who is the author of this wonderful short story, A Fashionable Trip to Paris. And thank you again for reading this short story.
You're welcome.
Very inspiring, very inspiring. So tell me a little bit about why you wrote this book.
Well, I wanted to write this book because I asked my mom, can we have a trip to Paris? She said no, and I was actually getting dressed at that time, so she asked, what do you want to do for the book? And I said, how about we do a book about fashion in Paris.
So it's based on your real life.
Yes.
Based on your real life. So in the book, From Fashion Trip to Paris, I mean, do you have any aspirations to be a fashion designer?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you come up with the illustrations, which I thought were very interesting?
Well, actually, I actually wrote the book, and then first I wrote the book, and then I read each page over and over again, and then I thought what to draw or do.
Now, what did you learn from creating this short story and reading this book?
Believe in yourself. I'm doing anything.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I thought you were a great person, but you're a great author too. I enjoyed this short story, and I'm sure that little kids who are reading this short story, whether on this show or maybe in the future, will enjoy this short story as well and be encouraged to write their own story. So I have one more question for you. All right. So other than being a fashion designer, what other aspirations do you have, say, for when you get older?
I actually want to be a marine biologist.
A marine biologist. That's very good. Now, can you see yourself writing a short story about that as well?
Sure, maybe.
Sure, maybe in the future. Very good. Well, I enjoyed the story, and I'm sure that the viewers will enjoy this story as well. You're very encouraging, very inspiring, and I look forward to seeing future publications from you as well. And we shared before we aired, we're going to look into getting this short story published as well.
Thank you.
All right, very good. Very good. So here we are, Kaylin Davila, A Fashionable Trip to Paris. Very good. All right. Well, that's it for the show. I enjoyed Kaylin's short story, and this show is to highlight young authors, all right, and their creative works, and be able to show that to the world. And Kaylin is our first guest, and she's very encouraging, very inspiring, and I hope that inspired all of you to send in your submissions. I said we're going to put up that information on the screen. Send in your submissions, and you can either have your short story read, like Kaylin did her short story, or have it featured if you can't make it in person. And so we're going to wrap up the show, and I want to thank Kaylin again for coming on and being a guest, our first guest. Very encouraging and very inspiring. We're going to wrap up this show. Until next time, we'll see you soon.